There's a rule in the villages of Venezuela and Colombia that every child learns before they learn to read. If you're walking alone at night and you hear a whistle, listen carefully. If the sound is close, you're okay. You're safe. But if the whistle sounds far away, don't move. Don't breathe. Don't make a sound. Because it means he's not far away. It means he's already right behind you. El Silbón, the whistler. Most legends fade over time. They get watered down, forgotten. El Silbón is not most legends. In the rural flatlands of Venezuela, a region called Los Llanos, this story has survived for over 200 years. Not in books, not in documentaries, around fires, in whispers, passed down from grandparents to grandchildren, the way a warning gets passed down. Because that's what this is, a warning. And the terrifying part? The rules of this legend are specific, detailed, the kind of details you only know if you've actually experienced something. Stories that are just made up? They're vague, they're fuzzy around the edges. This one isn't. People across Venezuela, Colombia, and parts of Mexico describe the same figure, the same height, the same walk, the same sound. A 7-foot-tall, skeletal man, dressed in torn, dirty white clothes, a wide-brimmed hat pulled low over his face, and over his shoulder a heavy, bulging sack, full of something that shifts and rattles when he moves. Bones. His father's bones. And that's where the story really begins. The boy didn't have a monster's beginning. That's what makes it worse. He grew up in a small cattle ranch in the Llanos, the great flat grasslands of Venezuela. His family wasn't rich, but they weren't starving. He was the only son, and because of that, he was given everything. Every hunt, every meal, every want. He never learned the word no. One evening, he came home from a hunting trip empty-handed. No food, no game, just frustration, and the kind of entitlement that builds up in a person when they've never been denied anything. He demanded his father slaughter a prized deer, the best one they had. His father refused. For the first time in the boy's life, someone told him no. Something cracked inside him. He didn't argue. He didn't yell. He went quiet, in that way that's far more dangerous than rage. That night, he killed his father. He gutted him. He removed the organs. And then, and historians and folklorists who study this legend say this detail repeats across every single version of the story, he put the remains into a large sack and carried it home on his back. When his mother saw what he'd brought through the door, she screamed. The grandfather, old, dying, bedridden, heard everything. He had the boy brought to him, and what he did next wasn't grief. It wasn't shock. It was fury. He ordered the boy beaten with a whip made of thorned branches. Then he rubbed hot chili pepper into the wounds so they would never stop burning. And then, his voice barely above a whisper, he said, "You will wander forever, carrying your sin on your back, never resting, never dying, and every soul you touch, you will take with you." The boy ran, into the flatlands, into the dark, and he never stopped. That boy is no longer a boy. He is El Silbón. Over the centuries, eyewitnesses describe the same transformation. The figure that roams the roads of the Llanos is impossibly tall now, 7 feet, some say taller. His limbs are stretched, like his body kept growing while everything else about him rotted. His face, the rare few who've seen it up close and survived, they say it looks hollow, like someone scraped out everything behind the eyes. He walks with a slow, deliberate stride. No urgency, no hurry. Because he's not chasing you. He's already there. And as he walks, he whistles. The same tune, the same low to high pattern, over and over and over. The whistle is how people know. But here's the part that breaks the logic of every other monster story you've ever heard. The closer the whistle sounds, the safer you are. The farther it sounds, the closer he is. Researchers who've studied regional folklore say this inversion, this deliberate psychological trap, is what makes the legend so psychologically disturbing. Because your instincts tell you to run towards safety, away from the sound. But running away from the sound means running toward him. He built the trap into the warning itself. Now let me tell you about the people who met him. In 1987, a cattle farmer named Ernesto, living alone on a small ranch in Apure State, Venezuela, he said he heard the whistling starting around 10 p.m. He thought it was a neighbor. He went outside. Nobody was there. But the sound continued, circling his property, close, then distant, then close again, for 4 hours. He locked himself inside, didn't sleep. At sunrise, he went outside to check on his livestock. Every single animal on his property was dead. Not wounded, not mutilated, just dead. Like something had frightened them to death overnight. Then there's the story of a man, I'll call him Marco because his family asked that his real name not be used, who was traveling home through the Llanos at night. He heard whistling in the tree line, distant, almost melodic. His first thought? His brother. His brother had a habit of whistling that same kind of tune, so he walked toward it. 3 days later, a search party found him, barefoot. His shoes were gone. His shirt was torn. He was sitting at the base of a tree, rocking back and forth. When they tried to talk to him, he only said one thing, repeated it over and over until they got him into a hospital. He was counting my bones. He was counting my bones. He was counting my bones. The doctors said he showed signs of extreme psychological trauma. He never explained what he saw. He refused to. He moved away from the Llanos region within a month and reportedly never went back. Local villagers in parts of Venezuela have a ritual when they sense El Silbón nearby. They keep dogs outside at night. Not for protection. Dogs can't protect you from El Silbón. They keep dogs because dogs can see him before humans can. The sign isn't barking. It's when the dog goes completely silent. When it stops growling. When it flattens to the ground and refuses to move. That's when people lock every door, every window, and wait for morning. Because legend says that El Silbón cannot enter a home that is completely sealed. He can only take those who are exposed, those who are in the open, those who wandered too far from safety. Over 2 centuries, villages across the Llanos have developed what they call the rules. Don't travel alone at night. If you hear the whistle nearby, it's far away. Stay calm. But stay inside. If you hear the whistle far away, freeze. Do not run. Running away from the sound takes you closer. If a dog goes silent outside your door, lock everything and wait until sunrise. And the last rule, the one that gets whispered the quietest. If the whistling suddenly stops, it's already too late. Because El Silbón doesn't whistle when he's found his target. He goes quiet, and he starts counting. Now here's what I want you to think about. Every version of this legend, whether it's from Venezuela, Colombia, or Mexico, includes those specific, consistent details. The inversion of the whistle, the bones in the sack, the silence at the end. Legends don't stay that consistent for 200 years unless people are genuinely reporting something. So I want to ask you something before you go. Have you ever been outside at night, alone, and heard a sound that made you stop completely? Not fear, not instinct, just stopped. Like something in your gut told you, don't move. Drop it in the comments, because I genuinely think some of you have felt exactly what those villagers described. And maybe now you know what it was.